How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall. In today's video, I'm going to give more of a breakdown of the schedule for this year's basketball team. I know I made a video recently talking about it, discussing it, what teams we play, what non-D1 schools we play, which teams we play in conference multiple times, which teams we only play once, how many conference games we have, how many total games we have, how many home games we have, how many away games we have, how many neutral site games we have, how many tournament games we have. Just so much going on. I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit more, give my opinion on some games that I think we have a good shot at winning and some games that will be harder than others. Some of the guaranteed wins against the non-D1 schools, which there'll be two Division II schools, one NAIA school being University of the Southwest, who play after Sam Houston State, which again is a little bit different. Usually play all our non-conference games first and then just have our set of conference games afterward. But this year is a little bit different. Play Sam Houston, then University of Southwest, and then it's all conference opponents from there. The schedule is a little bit different. As you guys know, I interviewed Coach Hooten last week on Wednesday, and he said out of his 33 years of making schedules for teams that he's been the head coach of, assistant coaching, whoever it may be, this has been the hardest year, and it'll probably just continue to get harder. And now we're probably done playing against Power 4 schools for at least a little bit of time because those schools do not want to take a chance of losing to a mid-major school, especially if we're to be on the road. I was talking with one of my friends earlier that I think the only team that would come to play us here at New Mexico State would be in football, and that would be Vanderbilt, just because they took a whole lot of our guys, and they're doing great things right now. They're 6-1, so that'd be a game we would more than likely lose. But if we're going to lose to anybody, at least we lose to Pavia and Vanderbilt. But this is not about football, this is about basketball, so let's get straight into this video. I believe this is the first time I've uploaded videos back-to-back days in a while, and get used to that with the season coming up very soon. Obviously here in my room, I'm going to probably upload most videos here in my room or at the Crimson Wire room. But those will be the two main spots. Obviously yesterday I was on campus at Corbett Center. I might switch it up here and there a bit. I like the scenery in the background because it's all Aggie stuff all around my room. Obviously got the Aggie shirt on. And the Crimson Wire room is all Aggie colors, crimson, white, black, all that. So really looking forward, to make videos throughout the season more consistently and with solid backgrounds wearing Aggie gear. As I discussed last video, we beat Universidad Autónoma de Chihuahua in Chihuahua, 97-62 after a strong second half surge. Again, we were only up by a few points, with about 10 to 12 minutes to go. We just really ramped things up those last 30 minutes. Thanks to Chris Terrell's defense, that really helped us improve, gave us a lot of energy. Gabe knocked down a couple outside shots along with Omar Smith, Chris Terrell himself, Anthony. Jamel played well. Julius played amazing, was the best player on the floor for both teams by far. Overall, it's just a great contest. Again, they had a secret scrimmage recently. Not sure how they played or who they played, how they played. Again, Coach Hooten at that six-man dinner on Friday said that they did a lot more bad than good, but they did do some good things. But again, I'm not sure that's implying that we lost the game or maybe we played against a team that we were supposed to beat and we did, but there could have been a lot of things that could have gone better. Kind of similar to that, Mexican team we played. Could have done a lot of things better. Maybe could have shot the ball a little better. But we started taking it to the paint. And when we did that, we won by a lot. I feel like if we'd done that the whole game, could have won by a lot more, but a win's a win at the end of the day. I also mentioned in the last video that we might have a scrimmage next Thursday here at home. Not sure who we'd play. I'd assume it'd be another non-D1 school. I know the women's basketball team I just saw, they have a game this upcoming Sunday against Cochise College, who's a JUCO school. I can't remember if we played them last year. Then we played against some lower level school. I can't remember who exactly it was. I know previous years, I think the year before that, they played against Eastern New Mexico, which they've easily won by 30 plus. So I'm gonna go watch that game. Hopefully there's a men's game to watch as well. A lot of home games to start the year, as you guys know. Our first 4 games are at home for men's basketball. I know the women's, they start off against USC. Then they're home the next week. I can't remember who they play that second week. I'd want to say it's against a lower division school, but I can't remember exactly. Our first 2 games, Adams State, New Mexico Highlands. Not sure if we ever played against Adams State, but I know we played against New Mexico Highlands 10 times, 10-0 against them. So try to make it 11-0, obviously. UNM's always a great battle. Going to be great to have them here at home at the Pan Am. We lost them the past couple times at the Pan Am, but they've been close contests, especially the last one. We lost by 1 point. That's a game we should have won. We were up 71-68 with about a minute left. Christian Cook got fouled, our best free throw shooter by far. Gets to the line, makes his first one after a timeout, misses the second. We leave Jalen House, arguably their best player that year, wide open for 3, so he's obviously going to knock that down. And he wasn't even playing that good, but of course he makes that one. I think he had 15 points, 13 of them in the second half. His shooting percentage wasn't that great, even ripped his jersey. Put up a really good fight against them. And then Donovan Dent, I believe it was, had a crazy reverse layup, which in my opinion probably was their best player. Some people might differ on that. He was definitely their best player last year. I think averaged 20.4 points and I was at UCLA. It's kind of funny because UNM kind of owns UCLA in a lot of sports. I mean, they destroyed them in football, but UCLA is playing a lot better now. So I would love to see a rematch between those two, but we're obviously not going to get that. And then they beat them in basketball last year, which really pissed me off. But I guess you got to give credit where credit's due. Sucks to do that to your rivals, but let's get another win against them. We seem to do better against them on the road, and last year's team was a lot more of a road team, as you guys know, especially in conference play. I really hope this year they're more balanced out, because if so, I think 20 wins is without a doubt going to happen, if not 25 or more. You never know. Donovan Dent kind of reminds me of a Teddy Allen type player, and I believe Teddy Allen's the better player. Could be a little bit of biasness there, but I think both guys still have a shot at the NBA eventually. Something I forgot to mention last video as well, that Adam Young did mention how he thinks that Jamel Jones has a chance to play in the NBA. Not sure if it would happen right off the bat, or if he would kind of work his way into it, kind of like what Serge Rice is doing a little bit. Had his opportunity to play in some preseason games and see some G League action as well as the Summer League, and working his way for that contract, along with another former Aggie, Juwan Gordon. Would really love to see all those guys pop off soon and get their chances eventually. Being at home those first 4 games is huge, because I think all of them are very winnable games. Obviously, playing against the non-D1 schools, those are games that are must-wins. If we lose any of those games, not going to look good for the rest of the season probably. But those are games that should be wins, should be blowouts. Hopefully they just learn a lot from them. I know last year playing against Highlands, I think we had a 48-point lead at one point. Put our bench in, we ended up winning by 36, so kind of got outscored by their guys. But it was kind of their starters versus our bench, and a lot of our bench didn't have Division I basketball playing experience. A lot of them came from other schools, like D2 schools, or they were freshmen. So I wasn't really too upset about that. I know a couple fans were, but I'm like, dude, it's fine. We won the game, right? It is what it is. Just kind of like that Mexican game, right? Things that could have gone better, but we got the win at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. I believe UNM was picked to finish about in the middle of the Mountain West, kind of like I think what they're expected to do in football as well. We're picked to finish at the top of Conference USA. In my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people's opinion, I think most people can agree with this, even Lobo fans, I believe the Aggies have a little bit better of a team this year. But those rival games, you just never know what's going to happen. You look at last year, UNM, I hate to say it, was obviously the better team than us. We still beat them, and we're the only team to beat them at their place, 89-83. I believe 3 of the last 4 games have been played there, so it'll be nice to play here again. Kind of similar to UTEP, how this year we're going to go there and play them in football, and 3 of the last 4 football games have been played there, which is really stupid and weird in my opinion. My freshman year here, we played them over there at UTEP, and then Conference USA, for some reason, played every team we played that year the same place. We played FIU at home, we played them at home again, and then we played Liberty on the road, we played them on the road again. And Liberty is a team that we played on the road 4 out of the last 5 times. As you guys know, the Aggies lost to them this past week in football. Really heartbreaking loss. Special teams kind of cost us that. At the same time, I think we had them at home. We'd had a lot better chance to win it. Especially this year's team. We have a home game on Wednesday against Missouri State. I think Missouri State's the favorite to win by 1.5, which no clue why. We're a lot better of a home team. I think we have a better team overall. We just got to go out there and prove the haters wrong once again and get another step closer to a bowl game. Really good to have them back at home. I just don't want it to be a situation where we somehow beat them on the road last year, and this year we have a better team, they have a worse team, and then we just lose them at home. It could totally happen. Again, it's a rival game, anything can happen. Whenever we had Teddy Allen, we lost them at home. It was a pretty close contest, and then on the road we beat them with that buzzer beater by Nate Pryor, backwards layup. That was an amazing performance. That was before I was even, committed to going to NMSU, and didn't really know much about the program or anything, but I knew that game was going on and saw they barely won. I watched some highlights, watched the full game recap, as I've done with a lot of the games, and that was just a big win overall. Sanford's another winnable game at home. Super glad we had them at home. I feel like they might be tougher to be on the road, but again, who knows with this team? They could be better on the road, just like last year's team, or they could be better at home, like our team a couple years ago were in Coach Huden's first year. Sanford was about 22-11 last year. I believe they went 12-6 in conference, so not a bad team at all. They're a team that surpassed 20 wins. I'm not sure what they're looking like this year, but I feel like they've always had a consistently good program, so they're probably aiming for that. I think we can beat them, even if we're at home, we have the advantage. I think beating them will be huge, especially at the start of the Cancun Challenge. Also play against UC Irvine, who we mentioned last video. Really, really good basketball team. They beat us the past couple times we beat them, or they beat us the past couple times we played them. We beat them when we had Teddy Allen and all those guys. Mentioning those guys a lot. I really think this team this year has a chance to be just as good as those guys. And I believe that in my 4 years here, this is the most skilled team we've had. Have a lot of great skilled guys. We named a lot of them: Jamel Jones, Chris Terrell, Gabe Pickens coming back. Just so many great guards. Anthony's another good shooter. So I think skill-wise and offensive-wise, we have a lot of great talent. I think defense definitely needs to improve. And again, that's something I don't expect to be as good as last year's our defense, but I think all assets of the floor, all facets of the floor, I think offense will improve a lot. I think free throws will get a lot better. I think our outside shooting will get a lot better. Just everything on the offensive side of the floor, I think, will improve for sure. We play South Alabama and Tulsa and neutral sites in Texas, so that's something Coach Huden is familiar with, is playing in Texas, obviously. He was at Sam Houston for a combined 19 years, 13 as a head coach, 6 as an assistant. Believe he played college basketball there as well. at Tarleton State, played at a community college as well, grew up in Texas, and now he's in Las Cruces. And he said that, Las Cruces is kind of similar to Texas in a way. But what I'm trying to point out is that he's similar to playing in those environments. Tulsa's had some good basketball programs in the past. They're a team that we were beating by 16 a couple years ago in Coach Newton's first year here, but ended up blowing that game. There's a lot of games like that where we just ended up blowing them, unfortunately. Even last year, too, South Alabama is a team that was pretty solid last year. Kind of similar to Sanford. I think they finished 21-11. Pretty solid in conference. Pretty good both away and at home. So playing a neutral site, we'll see how that is. And if anything, those games might actually benefit us because when it comes to the Conference USA tournament, I'm not sure if it's in Alabama again this year in Huntsville. Not Huntsville, Texas, where Sam Houston's at, Huntsville, Alabama. But it'll kind of get us familiar to playing those neutral site games where there's like no home team or no away team. So that might benefit us for the long run. And again, there's no Power 4 schools on our schedule, but that's not Coach Newton's fault. He's trying to do his best. I think he's told me when I was doing that interview with him that he had about 28 games scheduled by like August, September, but just had a hard time finding those final 3, and we obviously only ended up with 30. We also have that home and home with Abilene Christian. So since we played him here at home last year, gonna play him on the road. That's a game that we lost 78-70 where Coach Newton got ejected. But then we bounced back and beat UNM and then ended up losing to Texas, but still put up a good fight, even though we lost by 24. Shot the ball well, really shot the heck out of it. Texas just shot even better. And that's a game that it's like, it's kind of a guaranteed loss, I guess you could say, kind of like how we're supposed to beat, non-D1 schools. Texas is supposed to be mid-major programs, but they didn't end up having the greatest year in the world. I know Coach Newton is good friends with Arnie Terry, who was the former coach there. And, I know last year they didn't have the end of the season that they wanted, but still Texas. It's like Texas's football team right now. I believe they're 5-2. Arch Manning's not playing as good as people expected him to. But, it's kind of people put pressure on him that I don't think he was expecting to even be a Heisman guy. Maybe he was, I don't know. But my point being is that they're still 5-2, right? And they still beat a really good Oklahoma team last week. They're still finding ways to get wins. Kind of reminds me of the Chiefs last year. And, even this year, they're kind of trying to edge out some wins. So good teams are still good teams. And Texas was still a game that I think was winnable, too. We started off really strong and just couldn't finish it out, unfortunately. We did end up winning 7 straight. So I guess we have a rough start to the year. Maybe that Abilene Christian game will be kind of a turning point. But hopefully we have a good start to the year. Hopefully it's not a turning point to the point where we're good to start the year, and then we lose to Abilene Christian, and we just fall off, because last year was the complete opposite, where we ended up doing really good after it. So hopefully we start off good, play well in the middle, end strong. That'll obviously be super ideal. But there's going to be times we're going to have to face adversity. We're obviously going to lose a couple games. There's no way in hell we're going to go 30-0. It's just impossible, I feel like, in college basketball. I mean, hey, if we do, I'll take it, obviously. But obviously we're going to have to face adversity at times and just fight through it. I mean, Abilene Christian's going to be a good test. I feel like they might have some similar talent. And I really wish we could play against GCU. That'd be awesome. Former WAC opponent. A team kind of like Liberty, how, we said we'd own GCU and Liberty kind of owns the whole conference. But it would just be cool if we could play against them. Liberty is a team that we played twice in conference. Of course, the first game's on the road. I swear they get every freaking home match they can get. They always have the easiest schedule in every sport. It's insane. They have too much money to be in Conference USA. That's why it's if you can ever beat them, it's awesome. We lost them in football last year and both times in basketball. In coaching's first year, we pulled off a win against them, and they weren't as good that year as expected. They were picked to finish first and only finished, I think, 7th. Actually, no, they might have been a little higher. I can't remember exactly because I think they finished above us and we were 6th, so they might have got 5th. Last year they were good, and this year they're picked to win everything. Kennesaw State's also picked to finish 2nd. Played both those teams twice, of course. Got to make our schedule a little tougher. But at the same time, I think still have a good chance of winning all those games. I feel like we should have a chance to win a lot of games. Kennesaw State obviously has former Aggie Jaden Harris. FIU, we played them twice. They have former Aggie Zadi Jackson. It would be cool if hopefully that scrimmage we have, if it's against Western New Mexico, we'll also play against former Aggie Keelan Dorsey, who played with Jaden Harris. But again, I'm not sure we're playing that game. If you guys somehow know, please let me know in the comments below. Delaware and Missouri State are new teams in the conference that will play once at home and once on the road, so twice total. Sam Houston, we only played in that first game. So we're 1-3 against Sam Houston the past 2 years. We'll love for Coach Newton to get another win against them to improve to 2-3 because 1-4 against your old team would not look that great. 2-3 obviously a lot better. And some of those losses we had to them, very, could have been wins. Obviously, the first year we played against them twice, they just had a much better team. Last year, I feel like we could have swept them. Had a rough game there at the end. Almost came back and won it, but again, it was a game that didn't matter at all. Which again, very surprised that fans were like really upset about that game for Aggies and stuff. And I was like, dude, it doesn't matter at all. Like we're still gonna play against the same team in the tournament. It was gonna be the same layout and everything. Only difference is that we were 5th and Kennesaw State was 4th. If we'd have won, we would have been 4th. Kennesaw State would have been 5th. But I mean, that doesn't mean anything. We would still play the first seed the next game, which would have been Liberty, and then gone from there. I do truly feel like we could have won that Kennesaw State game. I feel like we could have maybe beat Liberty. I don't know. It's hard to say. It always sucks doing those things. We look back. I'm sure players do it too. Where they look back like, man, if we just done that, if we would have executed this. Because again, Christian Cook almost made that half-court three, which was better looking than all of his other shots. Had a great season overall, just had a rough game there at the end. I think he only had 5 points on a lot of shots. Jacoby Osborne got a great rebound, got it to go in, but missed the free throw. And he actually made his free throws the other day against that Mexican team. So definitely improved in that area, which is great to see. And hopefully he can just continue to do that, and hopefully the whole Aggie roster can continue to improve their free throws. Again, Jamel Jones shot it really well. Marco Doyle is a guy who I think can be the most improved player on this team from start to finish. Really hope he gets his opportunity because he looked really good. Again, it's just one game, but if they can keep consistent like that, expecting some really good things out of all of them. We obviously played against UTEP twice again in conference. Played them on February 7th, which is a Saturday on the road, and then February 21st at home, which is also a Saturday, 2 weeks from each other. While the games are on a schedule, including conference games, even the first couple of games of the year against those D2 schools, no time announced yet, but I assume most of them will be 7 o'clock, but obviously keep you guys posted as time goes on. We have 3 national televised games this year, which is 3 more than we had last year. Play against Middle Tennessee on ESPNU on Saturday, January 10th, and we play against Liberty on the road, of course, on January 15th on the CBS Sports Network. That first game's at home, and then the second against Liberty's on the road. We also have Missouri State at home on CBS Sports Network on January 22nd, which will probably be the first game I can go to of the next semester. So I'm going to go to those first 4 games, and then there's no game until December 21st, I believe. So it's like exactly a month in between. And that's also during Christmas break. There's always games during that break that I can't go to, obviously, because I'll be back home with family in Washington. But I'll be back for that game. I'll be on TV, so maybe I'll be on TV, be famous. That'd be cool. Like I said multiple times, I think 20 wins is definitely a possibility and very ideal, and I think it will happen. I think we can get about 13 conference wins. Might be like one team you get swept by if it would be anybody. Unfortunately, I think it would be Liberty. But I think every other team we have a chance at splitting or sweeping them, honestly. And then our non-conference schedule, again, it's not like the toughest schedule in the world, but it's also not the easiest either. I think it's a pretty well-balanced schedule. And I think out of those 10 non-conferences that we play, I think we can win a good 7 or 8 of them, honestly, if we just play our best brand of basketball. But I could also see us only win like 5 or 6. And then conference, I could see us maybe only winning 11 or 12. But I think 13 or more is definitely a possibility. We're picked to finish 3rd. There's been other accounts and other people that finish even higher, but said there's always a possibility that we could finish lower. I think it's all about us. I think, however we do, if we do really good, great for us. I feel like if we don't do as great, it's not necessarily because of other teams beating us. It's more about just beating ourselves and not playing up to our standard. Other than that, that's going to close the video for today. Let me know in the comments below what your season, win total prediction is. Like I said, I've been saying 20 this whole time. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say 20-10, be on the safe side, go 13-7 in conference. I could definitely see us finishing a little bit lower, but I could also see us being better than that. Just feel like that's a good range to give us. I know last year I predicted us to go 18-13, win the first conference game of the tournament, and then lose the second one, go 19-14 total. I'm going to go 20-10. I think that's very, reasonable, and 13-7. Just going to keep it there. Again, I could always predict us to be a little bit better, but I'm just going to be on the safe side, say 20 wins. But hey, I really hope they prove me wrong and get more than that. As for the Conference USA tournament itself, it's really hard to say because I don't know how every other team looks. So I'm not going to make a prediction there. But I will say that I think getting to a Conference USA championship game at least is what we need to do. I feel like coaching really deserves that. And, I feel like getting out early in the first round again for a 3rd straight year is not a good look. If we get to the second round, that's good. We at least advanced from last year. But I was hoping we would have done that last year. So I just really think making that Conference USA championship game will be huge. Even if we don't win it, I think putting up for a fight for that would be great. It just sucks with Conference USA, only one team gets in. That's another thing Coach was talking about at that dinner. It's not like, the Mountain West. I think they have 6 teams get in sometimes, or any of those big conference. Like, I believe it was the SEC last year had 14 out of 16 teams get in. That's not how it is in Conference USA, obviously. If that's how it was, then I think almost every team would get in, but only one team could get it. We could legit go 30-0, lose the first conference game of the tournament, and then be out, or any game in the conference tournament for that matter. You could also go 0-30, and if you win your tournament, you get in. That's just how it works. Obviously, it's pretty much almost possible for either of those to happen, I think. Not exactly, but pretty close. Really think we have a good shot. And if we make the NCAA tournament, I think we finished 20-10, 13-7 in conference. That probably gives us about a 12 or a 13 seed, I believe. In that range at least, maybe a little lower. I doubt it'd be any higher. When we were in the WAC, we always got the 12th seed, got the 14th one time. 2020, there was no tournament, obviously, because of COVID, but I think we were predicted to finish 13th, and that team was better than some of the teams that got 12th. So you just never know what it's going to be like. As long as we get in, we get in. Even if it's a 15th seed, I'll take it. And, the good thing about those games is there's no pressure on you to win. So we just got to look for the upset. Just kind of like how our football team plays against Tennessee this year. Obviously not going to win that game, but, there's no pressure on us at all. Let's go shock the world, right? In all sports. Really looking forward to it all. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out.